Good afternoon, everyone. We are 33 people in the meeting so far. We had a large number of registrations. I suggest we give another minute before we start and to allow for the registrations to log in. So in 1 minute's time, we'll be starting. Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Vanus Engelbrecht. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of WWASA. And I think it's important to understand that organizations invest millions every year in their people through salaries, learning, health benefits, wellness programs, and leadership development. Yet, many organizations still struggle with absenteeism, burnout, disengagement, and declining productivity. So, perhaps the question isn't how much we're investing, but whether those investments are actually working together. Today, we'd like to introduce a different way of thinking about workplace wellness, not as another program, but as a strategic capability that creates measurable organizational value. Throughout today's webinar, you'll hear from experts representing technology, medicine, commercial leadership, and organizational strategy. Together, we'll explore how organizations can move from fragmented initiatives to an integrated human sustainability approach. If questions come to mind during this presentation, please post them in the chat. We are going to leave time for discussion at the end. So let's begin. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker. Mark Evans is the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Upvio. Mark has spent years at the forefront of artificial intelligence, developing technologies that help organizations understand something we've never really been able to measure effectively before: the human condition in real time. His work combines AI, computer vision, and health science to transform an ordinary camera into a powerful health assessment tool. Today, he'll show us how technology can provide organizations with better visibility into workforce well-being and why that visibility is becoming increasingly important for organizational decision-making. Mark, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vanus, for the great introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. Thank you for having me. So today I would like to introduce you to UpVO. We position ourselves as Human Insights AI. We have physiological and empathic models, and we are all about understanding humans through AI. Now, let's get into it. Right now, as you sit there, an invisible symphony is playing beneath your skin. 60 to 100 times per minute, your heart pumps blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Each heartbeat sends a pressure wave traveling at around 4 to 12 meters per second. This wave reaches your face in approximately 200 milliseconds. Yes, that fast. Your capillaries expand and contract by microscopic amounts, nothing that can be seen with the human eye. These changes alter how light reflects from your skin, and subtle color changes occur. Now, what if we could see these invisible changes? What if any camera could become a medical sensor? Now I'm going to show you a short video and then we will carry on. So as you can see, the underlying message is measure what matters anywhere. We purposely use an astronaut on Mars as we want to drive home the message that measuring what matters can really be done easily in clinics, in pharmacies, online or on site or on shift. It is very, very straightforward. Now, what does Vital's AI do? We are turning health data into workforce value. Now, what are we doing exactly? If you can imagine yourself holding a smartphone in selfie mode in front of your face, you keep still for 30 seconds. We conduct a live scan. We're able to detect heart rate variability, breathing rate, estimate of blood pressure, HRV, and more in 30 seconds. We can actually do up to 22 health markers in 30 seconds. Now, what are we doing? We're turning these everyday health signals into workforce impact. Now, the value comes not from individual scans, it comes from trend visibility, earlier intervention, better workplace planning, and stronger duty of care. Now, this isn't a cost. This is workforce investment, which leads to workforce visibility. Most organizations already fund safety, clinics, EAP, wellness and compliance, but they still lack the day-to-day visibility into workforce health status. Okay, the technology. Let me take you through the technology. We often get these questions. How is this even possible? How is this possible with no device? How is this possible with no wearable? Well, I'll talk about the technology. We use dual stream technology. We use RPPG and another technology stream called RBCG. Now, remote photoplasmography is something we can now do from the advancement of technology. PPG has been around since 1937. This is nothing new, but with the advancements of technology and AI, we can now do remote photoplasmography. Then we go into remote ballistocardiography. And what is that? It takes out the movement, the subtle head movement, the noise, and is able to give us those accurate results that we need. Then, on top of the dual stream technology, tie in computer vision and our AI algorithm, which uses equations and formulas in the background to provide accuracy with these results. And with the AI algorithm, the more scans we do, the more we continually improve our scan accuracy. And this works over different skin tones and different regions of the world. We've tested this and validated this technology across the world. Now, if you can imagine how this works, this is a live video in 30 seconds. We are not recording. People are very concerned that we're recording, we're going to take their identity. No, it's none of that. It's imagine holding the phone in front of your face. It's a 30-second live video. You can stand in front of a webcam. You can stand in front of a tablet with a camera. But let's just say, in front of your smartphone, we do a live video for 30 seconds. We identify the high density capillary areas of the face, which is usually forehead, each side of the nose, on the cheeks and the chin. We are able to identify those. And then we use a technology called dynamic processing, where we're able to zoom in and get more accurate results in that 30 seconds. And where the other stream kicks in, the RBCG, is you will find it hard to believe that people struggle to keep their head still. We are able to adapt for these small, subtle movements of the face. So that's where the other technology comes in. So this is how we are doing our Vitals AI. Okay. So why this matters for you. Digital health and wellness screening, digital health check, whatever the terminology you prefer to use. Now, you cannot improve what you cannot see, and most workplaces still cannot see the day-to-day changes. Please be clear, this is not another wellness program. It is a visibility and decision support layer for workplace health. Employers already invest into workforce well-being, as I mentioned. Now, UpVO helps you see whether that investment works. We are turning health and well-being data from a periodic activity into an operational signal. Now, again, this is not a wellness program. It's not even cutting edge. This is bleeding edge decision layer that makes workforce health visible in real time. Now, we're moving beyond cutting edge wearables and surveys into continuous AI-driven visibility that leaders can actually act on. So there we have it. This is Vitals AI technology. I would be happy to answer any questions at the end, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Mark. Fascinating technology that you have developed. Our next speaker brings together something that is increasingly rare: deep clinical expertise combined with exceptional communication skills. Dr. Letukwanyama Letswalu is a medical doctor and public health professional who works at the intersection of clinical medicine, strategic thinking, and mass health communications. With an MB-CHB and MPH from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, she translates complex health data into compelling strategies, content, and campaigns that reach millions. She has built one of Africa's leading digital health platforms, reaching millions through health campaigns, managed major public health programs, and partnered with leading organizations such as the Gates Foundation and Novo Nordisk South Africa. Today, she serves as Medical Director of Thrive Health Services, providing patient consultations online. Over to you, Dr. Letu.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Fannis, and good afternoon to our colleagues that are joining us online. So, let's begin with why this conversation that we're having today matters now, right? So the workplace has changed dramatically. Our employees have changed, leadership has changed, technology has changed too, evidently today. So the expectations placed on organizations have changed. So surely our approach to workplace wellness needs to change too. We see that across almost every sector. We're seeing higher absenteeism, greater mental health challenges, which we're also seeing in the clinical field, skills shortages, difficulty retaining talented people, and increasing pressure on executives to demonstrate return on investment. So these are not isolated problems, but they are symptoms of something much bigger. And today's discussion is really about understanding the bigger picture and helping organizations move towards a more integrated and sustainable future. So if we look at what employers are already doing in the workplace, most organizations aren't underinvesting in their people. They're already spending a significant amount on learning, on leadership, on employee assistance programs, health benefits, safety, compliance, and technology. So it's clear the investment is already there. Yet, despite all of this, many organizations continue to experience burnout, absenteeism, turnover, and disengagement. So perhaps the issue isn't investment. Perhaps it's integration. Are these investments that we've listed actually working together? Or are they operating as isolated initiatives? So that's the question that leaders need to ask. The real problem. We've determined that it's not underinvestment, but rather fragmentation. So the real challenge here is often not the quality of individual programs, but how well they work together. So an organization may have excellent providers, capable leaders, good intentions, yet still achieve limited results because the system is fragmented. HR, learning, wellness, occupational health, and skills development often operate independently, which reduces their collective impact. So WWASA therefore views workplace wellness as an organizational capability rather than a series of different activities. Greater coordination can help employers improve their alignment, strengthen decision-making, and maximize the value of existing workforce investments. So what is the cost of fragmentation, right? This slide illustrates a common organizational reality. So HR, learning and development, employee assistance programs, occupational health, medical schemes, managers, and consultants, they all contribute valuable services, but often work independently. So the result of this is fragmented data, duplicated efforts, and inconsistent employee experiences. Executives are then left asking a simple question. Do we have an integrated workforce strategy, and is it delivering results? The solution here is not replacing providers, but really creating shared priorities, stronger governance across the board, and common measures of what success looks like. So this brings us to human sustainability. It asks whether organizations are actually creating the conditions for people and the business to perform successfully over time. And WWASA describes this through 4 connected elements. We can call them the 4 Ps. It's people, purpose, practice, and performance. So people focus on well-being and capability. Purpose focuses on providing direction and leadership. Practice reflects the systems and behaviors that shape daily work, and performance represents sustainable organizational outcomes. So these elements depend on one another. Human sustainability is therefore not simply a wellness initiative. It's a strategic leadership and governance responsibility. So we have to be strategic when it comes to wellness. We've seen that traditional wellness has served organizations well, but the workplace has now evolved, and we need to too with our organizations. The traditional programs tend to focus on activities. So it might be health days, it might be campaigns, events, looking at participation rates. While those things remain important, executives increasingly ask different questions. What business problem are we solving? What workforce risk are we reducing? And what value are we creating? And this is where human sustainability differs. It connects workplace well-being directly to organizational strategy, leadership, governance, and performance. Activities do matter, but strategy creates lasting value. So I want us to keep that in mind as we go ahead with today's presentations. Thank you, and back to you, Fanis.
Thank you for that insight, Dr. Letu. It is now my pleasure to introduce Alan Fritz, our chairperson of the WWASA board. Alan is an experienced executive with extensive expertise in strategic leadership, organizational development, and business transformation across the public and private sectors. He has successfully aligned people, processes, and technology to improve organizational performance and sustainable growth. Alan is passionate about governance, workforce strategy, and developing resilient organizations. And outside of WASA, he also serves as president of SA Swimming. Over to you, Alan.
Thank you, Fanis, for the introduction, and welcome everybody to another webinar of Workplace Wellness. We are excited to bring this to you. I'm going to try and give you a message that's brief and that has value for you. Sorry, I just lost my slide. If there's one message I'd like to remember about WASA, it is this. We're not here to compete with the workplace wellness industry. We are here to strengthen it. There are already outstanding service providers in our industry, consultants, healthcare professionals, researchers, and educators that are doing really, really exceptional work. Our role is different. We connect the ecosystem. We provide an independent platform where employers can access research, practical frameworks, professional learning, network opportunities, and evidence-informed tools that can make better decisions in your environment. Because our independence matters, we are trying not to sell a particular product or promote one provider over the other, that allow us to ask different questions. What does the organizational actually need? Only once that question has been answered, should solutions be considered. We believe workplace wellness is too important and too complex for any one organization to solve alone. It requires employers, practitioners, researchers, educators, healthcare professionals, and solution providers working towards the same fundamental goal. Our ambition is simple: to help organizations move away from fragmented activities or a fragmented approach towards an integrated, evidence-informed, and measurable approach to human sustainability. Because when the ecosystem works together, every organization benefits. And ultimately, so do the people they employ. The Workforce Value Network provides a practical roadmap for improving human sustainability. We start by assessing where the organization is today, identify the priorities, then build capability, connect the right expertise, access funding where appropriate, implement improvements, measure progress, and recognize and reward success. Every organization is different, so the journey always begins with understanding your current reality. Better assessment leads to better decisions and better long-term organizational performance. Human sustainability is a journey, not a once-off project or a once-off intervention. As organizations assess, improve, measure progress, new priorities emerge. WWASA supports that journey with practical frameworks, learning measurement tools, and professional networks. Employees remain in control of their own destiny and strategy. We simply help them navigate the journey with confidence. Continuous improvement builds strong organizations and a more resilient workforce or workforces throughout industry. Every journey starts with understanding where you are today. The Executive Workplace Wellness Climate Study provides that baseline for helping leaders identify priorities before making investment decisions. It's not a medical assessment, like Dr. Letu says. It's a strategic planning tool that we provide. Better decisions starts with better data. We assess, we generate insights, we take action, and measure the results. This evidence-based cycle helps organizations prioritize resources, improve workforce performance, and drive the continuous improvement continuum. To support this journey, WWASA is partnering with Amazon Web Services to develop the Workforce Value System. The four-wheel framework shows that sustainable performance depends on balance. Employee, customer, community, and company wellness are all connected. Just a vehicle cannot run on three wheels. Organizations cannot thrive when one area is neglected. Human sustainability is about strengthening the four-wheel framework. Each wheel represents an essential part of the organization's success. First, employee wellness, the energy, resilience, and engagement of people. Second, customer wellness, the quality of your service and the trust and loyalty you build. Third, community wellness, your broader impact and your license to operate and draw from communities. And fourth, company wellness, your leadership culture, your systems, and how work actually gets done or performed. The real value lies in understanding how these elements influence each other. When organizations strengthen alignment across four wheels, they move beyond treating symptoms and begin addressing the underlying drivers of workforce performance. Wellness isn't a cost, It's a workforce value opportunity. By connecting people, investment with strategy and measurement, organizations can unlock greater value from what they already spend. The workforce value calculator is designed to use each employer's own organizational data rather than relying on generic return on investment claims. It is considered factors such as payroll, absenteeism, turnover, training expenditure, wellness investments, and workforce indicators. The calculator is a decision support tool, not to guarantee or financial savings. Its purpose is to identify workforce value, opportunities where improvement, integration, stronger measurement, and a targeted approach to action may deliver better organizational outcomes. Meaningful executive decisions begin with accurate data and realistic employer-specific analysis. Skills development should be viewed as a strategic workforce investment or imperative rather than simply a compliance requirement. Qualifying employers contribute to skills development levy and may have access to mandatory and discretionary grant opportunities, subject to legislation and CETA requirements, of course. The opportunity is to align identified workforce priorities with legitimate learning interventions and available funding mechanism. Leadership development, psychological safety, and human sustainability initiatives may all include learning components provided they meet the relevant criteria. Employers should always work closely with their skills development facilitators and relevant CETA in this regard. The example illustrates how the skills development levy system works. An employer with a 100 million annual levy on payroll would contribute approximately R1 million in skills development levy. Subject to meeting the relevant requirements, the employer may qualify for a mandatory grant, while discretionary grant depends on CETA priorities, funding windows, and approval processes. The example is purely illustrative and does not guarantee funding at all. Its purpose is to show how employers should understand their levy position, grant opportunities, and how workforce priorities can support strategic skills development planning in your organization. Honest, thank you very much for the opportunity to present to the webinar. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, Alan. Our next speaker is Chris Late, the Chief Executive Officer of WWASA. Now, Chris is a workplace wellness specialist with extensive experience in organizational health and development. And as my co-founder of WWASA, he has helped us establish a platform that promotes research, standards, education, and collaboration across the workplace wellness sector. His vision is to position workplace wellness as a strategic business priority that supports healthier organizations and sustainable performance. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Franus. And thank you for all my colleagues that has presented before me. This diagram that you see now illustrates why workplace wellness requires collaboration. The employer is at the center, supported by HR, skills development practitioners, CETAs, training providers, health professionals, organizational development specialists, and researchers. Each stakeholder contributes valuable expertise, but no single group can solve every workforce challenge alone. WASA helps brings these stakeholders together around the employer's identified priorities. With a clear strategy and shared goals, organization can select the right expertise, make better decisions, and measure meaningful progress towards human sustainability. Organizations, I do apologize. Organizations progress through different stages of workplace wellness maturity. They typically move from reactive to aware to strategic and then finally to optimization. The maturity index isn't about ranking organizations. It's about understanding where you are and what comes next. Every organization's journey is different, but the goal is always continuous improvement. The Knowledge Vault, which our members have access to, gives employers access to practical tools, research, templates, and learning resources. It ensures the right knowledge is available at the right time to support continuous improvement across the human sustainability journey. Research and benchmarking is essential for improving workplace wellness. WASA follows a simple cycle: collect, analyze, benchmark, improve, share, and then repeat. Research and benchmarking turns data into insight. By measuring progress and sharing evidence-based learning, organizations make better decisions and continuously improve. We are proud to be a partner with Amazon Web Services and Upfio in building this long-term capacity into a giant anonymous data lake that can improve lives right through Africa. Then, with regards to the human capital investor, recognition should reflect measurable progress, not marketing per se. The Human Capital Investor program recognizes organizations and demonstrate a genuine commitment to human sustainability through evidence, accountability, and continuous improvement. So what does it all cost? From just R8 per employee per month, WASA's membership gives employees access to the tools, insights, and networks needed to access, improve, and mature human sustainability in organizations. We don't replace your existing investments. We just help you get more value from them. One of the valuable measurable benefits, as discussed earlier by Mark Evans, is WASA members gets access to the Upfio digital and wellness screening. Every 3 months, WASA employees can complete a 30-second screening using the camera on their mobile device. As Mark explained earlier, the assessment measures 6 health indicators, provide employers with valuable workforce well-being data, and can support informed decision-making and help identify trends across organizations. Imagine being in a position as a CEO or COO or HRO, where you can clearly see that a certain section or a certain branch is experiencing higher stress indices. That's valuable. Immediately something can be done about that. So the timeline basically is a journey, the workforce value journey. And the timeline brings it together. Employers join, they access information, they can start prioritizing, they learn, they connect, they fund, they improve, they measure, they recognize, and ultimately they lead. The workforce value journey is not one of continuous improvement. As organizations access, prioritize, and implement the measure, they build stronger human sustainability capabilities through evidence, collaboration, and leadership. Why partner with WASA, one might want to ask? Because we offer an independent, integrated, and evidence-informed approach to workplace wellness. We help employers connect leadership, well-being, leading, culture, and organizational performance with one strategic framework. Our focus is practical implementation, measurable outcomes, and solutions that reflect the African context. Rather than delivering every service ourselves, WASA strengthens the workplace wellness ecosystem by helping employers connect the right resources to the right priorities at the right time. The sample workforce value report that you can see here from an illustrative ABC manufacturing company illustrates how employer data can identify workforce value opportunity. In this example, absenteeism, staff turnover, and presenteeism represents the largest opportunities for improvement. The report also highlights organizational strengths such as leadership and BEE readiness, while identifying areas required further attention. The figures are illustrative and should always be validated using employer-specific information. But yet, I trust you will agree that there is significant returns to be illustrated. And the workforce value calculator provides a structured starting point for informed workforce decision making. As we conclude, I'd like to leave you with 5 key messages. First, organizations already invest significantly in their people. Secondly, integrated workforce investments creates greater value. Thirdly, meaningful measurements require employer-specific data. Fourth, skills development should support strategic organizational priorities. I think this is quite important. We can assist in that regard. And finally, human sustainability strengthens long-term organizational performance. The future of workplace wellness lies in assessing, prioritizing, learning, improving, and measuring progress through an integrated approach. I encourage every employer to ask, are our workforce investments working together as one system? If you're unsure, That's where we can help. WASA isn't another wellness provider. We're your independent partner, helping you assess, prioritize, and connect the right people, right resources, and right solutions to maximize the value of your workforce investment. If today's conversation has challenged your thinking, take the next step. Join WASA. Complete the Workplace Wellness Index if you haven't yet. Start measuring what matters, because organizations that invest in human sustainability today will be the organizations that outperform tomorrow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and back to you, Farnes.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. We will now invite your questions and discussion. Whether your questions relate to the Executive Workplace Wellness Climate Study, the four-wheel framework, the Workforce Value Calculator, skills development, or employer membership, we welcome the conversation. Where appropriate, we will distinguish between general guidance and advice requiring specialist and organization-specific expertise. If you would like personalized guidance, please share a little about your organization and workforce challenges. But before you leave, please scan the QR code to complete the Workplace Wellness Index questionnaire. It's only going to take you 5 minutes, and we will email you our complimentary ebook. The floor is now open for questions.
Farnes, I see there's a comment from Dina, someone. Maybe I can just quickly read it. It says, I like the integrated approach to the offering. It solidifies the concept of a healthy mind, healthy bodies, healthy outcomes. The early interventions show merit. Organizations has access to data, etc., from wellness days. It's the interpretation and analysis of the data that will make the difference. In my opinion, this can only be a win-win for all parties concerned, employer, employee, community. Thank you so much, Dina. And I agree. I really believe that through the work that the association have done this last year, through its participating employers, WASA's creating a movement, and it's not for us or about us. It's about Southern Africa and, Africa south of the Sahara, and the fact that we need to drastically do something about human sustainability. So thank you for that. Is there any other questions? Please just raise your hand, and we'd be most happy to answer. I see Irina said there, thank you for a very insightful session. Since we have a moment.
Thank you for that, answering that question or comment, Chris, commenting. Yeah, and I think, Alan, perhaps you would like to share your view with us.
Yes, sure, Farnes. I think, my own background in human resources tells me that in the past we were quite fragmented in our approach, because we had EAP, we had personnel services, we have labor relations, and employees come to work with their problems, And if you have a fragmented approach and employees late, the labor relations guy said you should go to a hearing. And without understanding what the context that the employee is going through, it is a futile exercise to try and resolve issues sometimes, particularly relating to shop floor matters. And it compounds the employee's problem in terms of if it's a financial issue, the mental health issues start setting in because there's no solution at the end of the line, and he is at odds with himself. So an integrated approach from a practical point of view, farmers, is absolutely the way to go. That was, have deliberated many meetings and amongst ourselves, formulating the four wheels. And if organizations want to tap in, please just go to our website. Everything is there. All information is there. But also send an email. I mean, Farnas and Chris, will you just make sure the emails are populated in the chat so that people can contact us and we be at service to them. As I said in my presentation, we are not here to compete with any other organization. We would like to play a role where everybody joins WASA, be it a provider, because we are here to promote everyone. And our only philosophy is that it has to be an integrated approach. Thanks, Farnas.
And I think we have a question from Sia Mayezi. Do you have any recognized workplace wellness standards that employers should follow? Chris, can you take that one for us?
Yes, thank you, Sia. Great question. At this moment, there does not exist specific workplace wellness standards. We are in discussion with the South African Bureau of Standards to bring it under their HR standards, and by virtue of that, working with the International Standards Organization in formulating some of these standards. But at the moment, what we're promoting is that every workplace has got specific conditions, and what we would like you to do, Sia, is if you can scan the barcode, if you haven't done it already, and do that questionnaire, because that will immediately just illustrate your organization, and obviously also contribute to the Southern African Index that we are developing. And then what is important here is then when you work with WASA, we go through a very specific process of understanding the climate, doing an audit, doing a risk analysis, and then setting a 4-year plan in motion that develops the human sustainability. I hope that answers your questions here. Thank you. Maybe if I can ask, just we have a moment still, Dr. Letu and Mark, if you would like maybe just to say something with our esteemed audience in terms of the value of wellness in the workplace and being two young, vibrant people, maybe share some hope for the future.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chris. I think what we've shared now is a very good model that a lot of organizations can follow, right? And for me, what really stands out and what I'd love for organizations and leaders to really focus on is having programs and having a connection between all these different pillars that we've spoken about and being very meaningful about it, right? So we really need to be intentional if we want to see real impact with our outcomes, with the wellness of our employees in the workplace. And these are decisions and organizational cultures that need to be created from the top. So if you're a manager, if you're an executive, if you're in leadership, I definitely think that this is a model and an approach that should definitely be prioritized.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Letu. And Mark, your microphone, if you can switch it on and maybe you'll share some thoughts with us.
Yes, thank you very much. And thanks everyone for attending once again. I think I added a very different perspective with WWO and our Vitals AI technology. I think it's bleeding edge, as I said. It really gives an alternative way to look at workplace wellness and how you can monitor and track activity on a daily basis instead of periodic. So I think, you know, for us, we would love for you to test our technology because that's the best way to approach this is to go to the WWO website, top right hand side, try scan, try button, click on it. It'll only take you a couple of minutes, and this kind of technology it will blow your mind, and that's what we can do. And it's removing, you know, the old-fashioned way of filling in forms. You know, even wearables and devices, they get broken, they get stolen, they don't work, people forget to wear them. It's a different way of approaching workplace wellness. And we started off predominantly as a business in the healthcare space. And you can healthcare, telehealth, remote patient monitoring, digital health. And we've just seen our use cases just broaden massively. And the number one sector for us right now would be workplace wellness. The uptake and the interest in this space is phenomenal. So I encourage everyone to take a look and come at it from a different perspective, because it definitely has value, and the value is achievable very quickly. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Mark. And Chris, I think we're almost at the end of our session. Perhaps a last word from you.
No, just ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a privilege, and thank you for the kind comments, and thank you for the esteemed panel sharing their wisdom with us. We will be collating more information in this regard, and also watch the YouTube channels, etc., for coming out. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. And Alan, last word from you.
I just want to thank those that attended. Really, we want to make sure that we empower you in your different companies. We try and bring the benchmark speakers on board so that we all can learn at the same time. Great thanks to the guys that has put the webinar together. And we look forward to the next one. We look forward to have our audience. Please spread the message, because we would most certainly like to ensure that in every sector of our economy, people understand the big task we have in terms of wellness in our country.
Thank you for those wise words, Alan, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending our webinar today, and we will be in touch. And thank you once again to our speakers. It was a great session. Thank you, everybody, and I'm going to end the event.